Hey everyone, and Happy New Year! Welcome to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. You are listening to us live on itmiradio.com. Hope everyone is off to a good start in the new year. Of course, I go by the name of Kenny C, and I will be your only host for the evening. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to be your only host for a while. For those who may not have heard, my co host Jeff, his computer is broke. So, as of this time, Jeff Escal will be taking a hiatus for doing shows until either his computer gets fixed or he's going to have to buy a new one. So, he won't be doing his show, he won't be doing this show, he won't be on chilling until his computer gets fixed. For those who don't know, well, now you know. Andrew, already. That's why you need me to be your co host, Kenny. Look here, Andrew. I've been doing shows for almost 5 years. I know what I'm doing. And I don't think you have the equipment in order to co host. So, unless you want to pay $200 and $300 or whatever, you know, that's very costly to get a mixer and stuff. I'm just saying. I got my good friends Andrew and I got Fozzie with me. If you want to join me in the chat room, you can go to itmiradio.com /TTW. At least I don't have to hear Jeff bragging about TTW, Tinkle, Twinkle, Twinkle. He needs to go over that, really. I even tell him that. Tonight's show, we're going to recap SmackDown, Impact, and Raw. Plus, I will be making my picks for the Genesis pay-per-view. And then our first interviews of the year will be Tiffany Wax and Roxy, together known as the Rockettes. I bring the ladies back on the show because one of them is retiring from wrestling next month. That happens to be Roxy. 1 minute, Andrew said, "Oh, you need me to be your co-host." And then the next second, he has to restart the computer. In the words of Jeff, unbelievable. And Fozzie, in case you haven't heard, I now have a PlayStation 3 and I now have the WWE 12 video game. And that game is, even though I don't like quoting The Miz, that video game is awesome. I have just about a lot of stuff unlocked by now. I still have a few more arenas and championship belts to unlock. Other than that, I've already went through the Road to WrestleMania stuff. I kind of like the Triple H one first, the WCW second, and the Jacob Cash third. Actually, yeah, the Triple H first, Jacob Cash second, and the Sheamus third. As far as the Road to WrestleMania stuff. I'm gonna do things a little bit differently this year, not just for this show, but for chilling. I now have notebooks, as I wrote notes down for both shows. Like for example, on my notebook for Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, I write down notes of Raw, SmackDown, and Impact of every week, including the pay-per-views. So at least I know going into each show, I know what the heck I'm talking about in order to recap. So here's what I'm going to do. And don't worry, I'm going to get to the Monday Night Raw stuff in just a little bit. But I want to go back on SmackDown for last week. We'll still go by the same format like last year. First 30 minutes is WWE, 10-15 minutes interview. Last 10-15 minutes will be TNA / pay-per-view pick'em. So here we go. Recapping SmackDown of last week. Ted DiBiase Jr., as I like to call him, defeated Jinder Mahal. Actually, Jinder Mahal defeated Ted DiBiase Jr. Now, Jinder Mahal is using the camel clutch, Iron Sheik's move. Um, Jinder Mahal, the so-called Wish dude, against the guy who used to be Wish. Now he's spending time with fans. Got the DiBiase posse, block party, block posse, whatever he calls it. Um, DiBiase's, aren't they known for being bad guys? Ted DiBiase Sr., the $1 million man, never was a good guy in his WWE career. So it should be interesting to see how long this good guy DiBiase will last. Um, my favorite diva, the oh so sexy Alicia Fox, teaming up with Caitlyn, and they defeated Tamina and Natalia. After that match ended, Tamina attacked Natalia and went for the Superfly Snooker Splash. Well, you know the new saying, like father, like daughter. Of course, Tamina is the daughter of Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Natalia is the daughter of Jimmy the Anvil Neidhart. So it looks like we got ourselves some diva storylines here. Some rivalry, perhaps. You know, that would be watchable. I've been a fan of Tamina since she was flirting with Santina Marella about a couple of years ago. So it shows the woman does have personality. So I'm curious to see what WWE goes with her in 2012. Big Show beating down Mr. David Otunga. It looks like Drew McIntyre may be in for a comeback year. He defeated Ezekiel Jackson. Teddy Long is guys putting the man on a leash. If you don't start winning matches, you may be unemployed. Look at Fozzy. Can I just say, I said the guy behind the 1, 2, 12 was Jericho on a previous show. Yes, you did, Fozzy. Yes, you did. You did say it was going to be Jericho. I didn't think it was going to be Chris Jericho. You know, I thought it was going to be someone dark personality and stuff. Boy, I stand corrected. But I'm going to get to Chris Jericho in just a little bit. The Battle of the Redheads, and not the ones that Jeff is into. Sheamus defeated Heath Slater. And then the main event, you have Wade Barrett versus Randy Orton, Falls Count Anywhere match. The match ended up backstage, and let's just say Randy Orton took a nasty fall on the stairs. And I think that's what Wade Barrett needed. He talks about the Barrett barrage. He talks about Randy Orton being in the way of pursuing a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. And Randy Orton, he's going to be out of action for a while, which means he may miss the Royal Rumble, which will be in his hometown of St. Louis. That's not a good look, Randy. If there was ever a time not to be injured, this would be it. So he needs to get healthy. I don't want to hear Kenny LOL about Randy's fall. I mean, happened. It happened. Hey, I see it on the TV. I got to talk about it. Okay? Randy Orton, I don't know if he got clumsy or he tripped and fell or Wade Barrett pushed him off the stairs. We really didn't get a good look at it because the idiotic cameraman didn't even show what happened until he opened the door and saw Orton on the down the stairs. He's going to be out for a while, so that means he may have to miss the Royal Rumble. See, WWE is having a lot of injuries to start off the new year. Yeah, the camera had a bad shot. You know, Vince McMahon should just fire him. Him or her. but they mostly have male cameras. So I say that cameraman should be fired. Um, Now, SmackDown got not one but two big matches scheduled for tomorrow night's SmackDown. My boy, Booker T, 5-time WCW champion, versus Cody Rhodes one more time. And it will be for the Intercontinental Championship. And Daniel Bryan will finally have his first world title defense against the man he won the title from. That is the Big Show. Daniel Bryan can make fun of Big Show about the fact that he has the shortest reign as World Heavyweight Champion ever. I won't be laughing too much, Mr. Daniel Bryan, because your title may not be lasting long. Or whatever, though it was, not that it matters. So, Daniel Bryan, how about that for a first title defense? You got to take on the Big Show. No Money in the Bank briefcase to help you on this one. You got to go through a whole match. You know, I'm sorry, but I don't recall Daniel Bryan in the indie circuit facing anyone with the size of the Big Show. I watched Raw and saw the funniest bit when Miz left John Laurinaitis and said he won't be a lame duck. I gotta admit, that was kind of funny. Now we're gonna get to the Monday Night Raw portion of the show. It all started with John Cena and Kane. Feud continues. John Cena has had enough with Kane. He wants to take him out once and for all. But Kane wants John Cena to embrace the hate instead of rising above it. Doesn't rise and embrace kind of mean the same thing? As in, you're not letting the hate get to you? You know, ain't that what it is? Rise above the hate, embrace the hate. Ain't that kind of mean the same thing? It means you're bigger than that. It means you're not letting it get the best of you. John Cena is entering his 10th year in the WWE. And he probably spent 8 to 9 years as a good guy. He's pretty much spent half of a year as a bad guy. Now he's still a good guy, for a very long time. And I don't think he's going to be the main good guy when he faces The Rock. So you might as well embrace it. We got a first-time listener. Well, I thought we did, and he or she left. There you go, Fozzie. 10 years and doing the 5 same moves. I'm saying this right here, right now. Everybody doesn't do 100 moves in a match. Okay? There's times where you don't even have time to do moves that you're used to. So, here's what I know. Is John Cena going to be a bad guy? That's a huge debate in the wrestling world heading into 2012. I don't think he's going to be a bad guy. I think he has too much going on with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, with the Be A Star anti-bullying campaign, and him being a good guy. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. So all the marks, I guess people could say it, don't hold your breath. I don't see John Cena turning into a heel. I thought it would happen at Survivor Series. WWE had a big opportunity to make that happen, and it didn't. So if it's not going to happen at Survivor Series, if it's not going to happen at WrestleMania, I just don't see it happening. And who knows, it may be Cena versus Kane at the Royal Rumble. WWE has a lot of injuries. Randy Orton is hurt. Christian is hurt. Orton is hurt. Del Rio is hurt. Mysterio, Sin Cara, Kevin Nash. No wonder why they needed Chris Jericho to come back. No wonder why. Well, the way he's getting booed as of late, he's already has turned. Well, that may be to the crowd reaction, but his personality doesn't think so. You know, he's still a good guy, doing the right things, saying the right things, standing up to what's right. You know, maybe WWE try to make it look like he's a bad guy, but I don't see it. Fans could boo him all he want. He don't care. He dealt with it for 10 years. He's a 12-time world champion. Okay? In the words of R-Truth, don't boo him. You should be booing yourselves. Speaking of R-Truth, and I'm going to get to R-Truth in just a little bit. Coming back from his suspension 2 weeks ago, now he's going after The Miz. Daniel Bryan defeated Cody Rhodes in a champion versus champion match. Wade Barrett defeated Santino Marella. Oh, Santino Marella is a funny dude, man. Calling Wade Barrett a stupido. You know what? Wade Barrett. Who lasted longer in the Royal Rumbles? It was this guy. Well, Fozzy says, I used to like Cena, but I got bored after a while. I know. You know, I'm a Cena fan. I'm a stand by the dude no matter what. You know, I would like to him to be a bad guy, switch things up a little bit. But, you know, business wise, Vince McMahon ain't letting that happen. I think he's pulling the strings as far as whether Cena's going to be a bad guy or not. He's pulling the strings. He's the boss. He do whatever he wants. Whatever sells the seats and sells the t-shirts. That's what's going on. Ray Barrett and he totally annihilated Santino Marella. And then you got Sheamus versus Miz, which pretty much leads to R-Truth. He didn't appreciate, you know, Miz didn't appreciate being got by his former tag team partner. Santino is a stupido. He is literally beyond the worst wrestler. However, he beats people with the Cobra is beyond me. He is funny, but a crappy wrestler. It's funny how people say John Cena's not a good wrestler, but then when you look at Santino Marella, yeah, at least Cena can actually move. At least he can put some moves together. At least he's not a gimmick inside the ring. I like Santino too. He's there for comic relief more than just being a wrestler. I mean, it's funny how people hate Cena. They get him with the "you can't wrestle" chance, but when you look at Santino Marella, I mean, come on. I know Cena's never gonna be Punk or Daniel Bryan or Randy Orton. He's not gonna get the respect wrestling wise, but at least he's there. He's competing. He's in title matches a lot. He's out there giving it his all. He's not goofing around. He takes it seriously. And I think that's why people kind of look at Santino the wrong way as a wrestler. Another thing here. Dolph Ziggler defeated CM Punk again. Yeah, maybe he needs to get rid of the unibrow. Just maybe. Have a lovely bunny, which I'm assuming that's Fozzy. This was for the WWE Championship because Ziggler defeated Punk in a non-title match thanks to John Laurinaitis. And now they face each other again this past Monday night. And once again, John Laurinaitis decides to get involved. It's pretty obvious that John Laurinaitis does not like CM Punk to be WWE champion, which is why Dolph Ziggler will get one more shot at the WWE title at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Um, so there you go. Oh, and let's just say CM Punk gave Laurinaitis a warning. He said, "You know what? David Otunga is going to be useful for once. If you screw me out of the WWE Championship, I am going to go to jail. You know what I'm going to go to jail for? For animal cruelty." End quote. Punk means business. So, I tell you, see, if John Laurinaitis does not want Punk to be champion. It's funny how almost 5, 6 years ago, CM Punk was moaning and groaning about not getting a push and went with the whole fake contract ending stuff. Now all of a sudden he's on top of the world. I guess moaning and groaning does get you places. Did like it when he gave up his title shot so Wilder could get a U.S. title match. Respect the Cedar for that. They're going to have a match between Punk and John Laurinaitis. Well, that could have happened a couple of weeks ago if it weren't for Laurinaitis himself. Dolph Ziggler, I think he's going to be in for a big 2012. He had a long reign as United States champion, and the dude can hang. I'm not a Dolph Ziggler fan, but I respect that little blonde prick. I mean, that dude. Now he's starting to. If you notice, when Dolph Ziggler first came into the WWE, he wasn't talking that much. You know, all he said is, "Hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler," and now he's been around with Vicky Guerrero for over a year now, and he's starting to get some personality. He's starting to talk more. He was on Zack Ryder's show. Then they had the feud. Dolph Ziggler, I think he's going to be in for a big year. I won't be surprised if he wins at the Royal Rumble. I won't be surprised. You know, other people are going to have to step up because of these injuries. So we will see. We will see. So Miz versus R-Truth, that's definitely a possibility for the Royal Rumble. Of course, those two in the Royal Rumble match. The Bellas defeated Eve and Kelly Kelly. And with Alberto Del Rio hurt, looks like the Bella twins are going to get back to wrestling now. Chris Jericho makes his triumphant return once again. Jericho is back. For weeks, I said no way it could be Chris Jericho. And then on early morning afternoon, I'm looking on my Facebook page, and there's people posting pictures of Chris Jericho spotted at a Memphis airport, which WWE Monday Night Raw Super Show was at this past Monday night at Memphis. So they almost getting ready for the 6-man tag team main event, and this in begin stuff really starts to get together, and there goes Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho didn't even say a word. He just running around, smiling. I tell you, if there's one person who loves to smile to the camera, it's Chris Jericho. He can smile. I'm telling you. He smiled. He didn't say nothing. You know, he was just playing with the crowd, giving them high fives and stuff. And now that Chris Jericho is back, what does WWE have in store for him in his third go around? Is he going? He's obviously going to be in the Royal Rumble match, but who he's going to be his face feud with? You know, he's going to be on Monday Night Raw now. So It can't be Cena because he's dealing with Kane. It could be CM Punk at some point. You remember Chris Jericho took shots at CM Punk because of the best in the world moniker. He took shots at WWE superstars for quote stealing his moves. Sin Cara with the lion salt and other wrestlers using his moves. Now he's back working with the WWE. I wonder how that locker room's gonna work out. I can see it now. Chris Jericho getting his wrestling gear together, and then the wrestlers will be looking at him funny like, I seen you talking smack about me on Twitter. Now that gonna bring you back? Are you kidding me? Have you heard that Kevin Nash made the following comments via Twitter? Never realized I had a problem with Jim Warrior, Ultimate Warrior. Seen the beginning along finding Scottsdale. Come on, my clown. Turn that front upside down. I'm talking about shoot, not Sports Entertainment. Jim Halleck needs to put up or shut up. Day before Mania in Miami, Warrior will have to pass all HIV, HEP, and BSC tests. I'll do the same. I'm tired of this guy talking about the boys in me. When are they gonna stop it, or tap it, or I quit? Yeah, there's a possibility now that Chris Jericho is back. I say put Jericho versus Punk at WrestleMania. It could be. I say it that match wise, it could be better than Cena versus Rock. To tell you the truth, people need to stop sleeping on Chris Jericho of WrestleMania wise. Bumper Lips is Ebo leaving soon, so not going to decide it. But hey guys, hey Ebo, Happy New Year to you. We're talking about Chris Jericho's return to the WWE and what does the WWE have in store for him now that he's back. Fozzy saying he may face CM Punk. Punk versus Jericho, I like it. I say make that happen. At least after the Royal Rumble, or at least after the Elimination Chamber. Either he wins the Royal Rumble or he wins the title match at the Elimination Chamber. So that's one of two things. Now, John Cena still wants to face The Rock for the WWE Championship. At this moment, the only chance for Cena to do that is either win the Royal Rumble or win the Elimination Chamber. So we'll see how that goes. So Chris Jericho is back. Should be for fun ride. In the main event, Big Show, John Cena, Zack Ryder versus Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. Kane was supposed to be in the match, but he did not show up. Continuing to play mind games with John Cena. So Show, Cena, and Ryder won that match. And that pretty much concludes your WWE recap of the day. And I went through the Raw and SmackDown recap in almost 30 minutes. Coming up, and I'm hoping and praying, but coming up, the Rockettes will be joining me. Tiffany Rocks and Roxy. I am back doing the show. I was under the weather last week. I had a congestion, which is why I didn't do the show last week. Ebo, Jericho was. This is Ebo. She thought Jericho was cute until he turned into a complete douchebag. So, in other words, for about 5 minutes. Well, I'm telling you, man. As long as Chris Jericho don't have that soft tone, I'm the best in the world at what he does. I want the loud, obnoxious, calling people ass clowns. I want that Chris Jericho. I don't want that suit wearing Chris Jericho. I want the Ayatollah of rock and roller. That's what the Chris Jericho I want. So as long as he stands in that lane, then I will like Chris Jericho a lot more. Now, who's gonna be inducted to the Hall of Fame alongside with Mascarius? Um, it's definitely gotta be Macho Man Randy Savage. That's for one. I don't know why WWE is taking so long. You need to induct Macho Man Randy Savage into the Hall of Fame right now. As a matter of fact, you should have inducted him to the Hall of Fame a lot sooner. Maybe a year or two sooner before his death. But you know how it is with life and the passings. You never know. You only got one life to live. So they need to induct Macho Man Randy Savage right now. Don't even wait to SmackDown on Raw or pay per view. Just induct the guy, put it on WWE.com, and be done with it. Macho Man Randy Savage played just as big as a role as Hogan and Warrior and Piper did. That dude had one of the most flamboyant clothes you'll ever see. I'm telling you, Macho Man, get him in the Hall of Fame pronto. ASAP. Who else should be inducted into the Hall of Fame? I'm going to say Arm Anderson, Four Horsemen. Arm Anderson, I say Rated R Superstar Edge. Maybe it'll be too early, too soon. Maybe. And right now, my guess is calling in right now. Let me go ahead and add her to the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest of 2012 here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. I believe we are joined with one of the Rockets, Tiffany Rocks and Roxy. Hello.
Hi,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Is this Tiffany or Rock?
This is Tiffany.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Any word from Roxy?
She should be calling in any moment.
All right, while we wait for Roxy, I'll just go ahead and interview you. Uh, Thank you so much for joining us again. You're one of my favorite guests, and Roxy, and again, we're glad to have you back on.
Thank you.
All right, so Roxy, I mean Tiffany, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Um,
That's fine. Everybody gets us mixed up. It's all right.
okay, I feel better then. So you was NWA Women's Champion recently.
Yes, I was.
And you had to defend the championship on Christmas Day against Tasha Simone, who you won the
Right.
title from in a steel cage match. I mean, what was that like having to, one thing to wrestle on Christmas Day, but to be in a championship match, in a steel cage match, and that I already mentioned that it was on Christmas Day? What was the experience like?
Well, it was hard, leaving my family behind on Christmas Day, but, champions got to do what they got to do. I had to go defend my belt. The match was a brutal match. Of course, right before the match, Tasha Simone took it upon herself to, try to take me out with a steel chair, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. So we did the match, and she worked my neck, worked my head, where she hit me with that chair, and eventually she overcame me with a pile driver. There's not many people that can walk away from one of those. So it was a hard fought match, and, I have it in my sights. I want, a rematch.
And do you know when exactly you're gonna have your rematch?
At this time, I do not know, whenever I'm going to have my rematch. I have a pretty set schedule right now, so when the NWA and me get together and set a date, then of course I'll let everyone know on my Facebook page, on the Rockettes Facebook page. You can keep up with all of our information there.
And speaking of the Rockettes, of course, for those who may not know, your longtime tag team partner, Roxy, she plans on retiring from wrestling next month. When she first told you the news, what was your reaction?
I was actually very sad about that. We've, been tagging now for over a year, and we've had a good thing going on, and I'm sad to see that she's going to have to retire. But your health comes, before wrestling, and she has a few injuries that's got her down, so she's got to, heal. She may come back to wrestling, but if it's her health or wrestling, she's got to go with her health. She has a beautiful baby boy that she has to take care of.
Understandable. Wrestling is a very, very tough business, not just mentally but physically, and not a whole lot of careers last forever. And if she got the injuries and everything, it's just best that you just walk away while you're still standing. So you do what you got to do. Um, and now that the Rockets, you know, with the whole retiring thing, is there any thoughts of you want to keep the Rockets name going with a new tag team partner, or you just gonna focus on your career solo?
Right. No, I couldn't do the Rockettes without my tag team partner, so there wouldn't be any replacing her at all. I will continue on in singles action. I have talked to the NWA about doing the NWA Women's Tag Team Tournament, which, is a big thing because we just brought that back. So there is a chance that I will have a new tag team partner, and coming up, with a new tag team for that tournament. But the Rockettes, I can't go and replace Roxy at all.
I'm happy to hear that. I mean, there's no way that there'll be a Rockets without the two of you. So if you might as well retire the Rockets name because that's just not gonna go away.
Right.
The woman that's my favorite woman tag team of all time, uh, hands down. And y'all had a great run as MLW Tag Team Champions. Um, Now y'all were the first to win those belts, and then all of a sudden I see Nikki Lane and Jennifer Justice, who are MLW favorites. They are now the
Hmm.
tag team champions right now. And
Right. They were awarded those tag team belts. They did not beat us. The tag team straps, the belts were taken from us due to unknown circumstances. We were just, notified that we were stripped. I'm sure it had a lot to do with Veronica Fairchild being commissioner. She wasn't very happy that we defeated her whenever we had first came to MLW. So I'm sure it had a lot to do with her having a grudge against us and awarding Nikki Lane and Jennifer Justice. I think they're called Smoking Justice, that tag team titles.
that is crazy. And I believe your tag team partner is calling in right now. Let me get her on the
Awesome.
conference here. We are now joined with both Rockettes, Tiffany and Roxy. Hey, Roxy, you there?
Hey guys,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I didn't know if the call or three way or I didn't know what was going on. I apologize.
Sorry, I dropped the ball. I was asleep on the couch.
What?
It's all good. We got both ladies in here, and Roxy was talking a little bit about your retirement and the MLW Tag Team Title situation. And now that you on the line, I want to ask you about the whole retirement thing. I mean, how do you feel knowing that next month you're not going to be wrestling anymore?
I am completely crushed. I hate to walk away from the most awesomest thing that's ever happened in my life and the worst thing to happen in my life. I am forced to retire because of my neck. I have really bad neck problems. And to leave the Rockettes is very hard too because we have a really awesome thing going. But I've got to do what I got to do, and I'm very thankful for the family and the friends that's helped me through everything.
Well, we definitely wish you all of us here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, we wish you, Roxy, the best in health, and we also wish you the best going forward after your wrestling career. You are an amazing, talented wrestler. You had a great run. You've won numerous championships, and I think you're the only female to win the MLW Women's title and Tag Team title. So no one can take that away from you.
Yep, yep, that's right. That was exciting to have the belts on both shoulders. That was awesome.
So, is there going to be any more Rockets tag team action before the retirement? You know, with the January winding down, February is approaching.
Yes, I'll make it happen. I mean, if it's not going to be in February, then in March, but it's got to happen at least one more time before I completely walk away.
Now,
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have to get a lot of shows and girls lined up. It's difficult to get all four girls at a show for one. For a match. So we will definitely make another tag team match happen before she has to retire.
Definitely.
so Roxy, now that you look back on your career, what would you consider your? This is a two-part question. What would you consider is your favorite moment as a singles competitor, and what would you consider your favorite Rocket moment?
As singles, my favorite moment, um, doing the moonsault for the very first time in front of a crowd. I practiced it for I don't know how long, and I could do it during training, but I never put it in a match in front of a crowd. That was I guess the biggest highlight right now I can think of. I'm sure there's plenty more, but that's the first one that comes to my head. And the favorite Rockettes moment, wow, there's so many. Me and Tiffany have had so much fun. Um, Gosh, working the guys was more fun, really.
Yeah,
Tiffany,
that was a lot of fun.
yeah, the guys are a lot of fun. Biggest Rockette moment. You know what? The biggest Rockette moment was the very first time that we ever walked out together as a established tag team. That was the best moment ever for me.
Yeah, we had the crowd hot that night.
Yes, very much so.
I'd have to agree. That's probably my favorite moment too.
Thank you.
I I got an interesting question from Fozzie in the chat room. And with you retiring, Roxy, Tiffany's going to continue her wrestling career. I'm guessing Fozzie wants to know, is Roxy going to be a manager for Tiffany Rox in the future?
I
Dude,
never
that's a
gave that much
difficult
thought.
question.
But I've never been a manager before. I don't think I've valeted like once or twice, but a manager for me, I don't know if I could because I have that itch to get in the ring because I'm a throwing bows type of girl. I'm not just a let me walk around the ring type of girl. So that'd be a no.
Yeah, I tried going back to managing. After wrestling, there's no comparison at all. Being at ringside while somebody else is in on the action, not at all.
Yeah, it's hard just to stand on the side of the ring and watch all the attention in the ring. You want to be that center of attention.
Understandable. Understandable. If you were to be back in that position, it kind of gives you that ish factor that want to get back in there. So uh, for more info on the Rockettes, you can like their fan page on Facebook, the Rockettes 01. You can like Tiffany's solo fan page, Tiffany Rocks fan page. And on Twitter, you can follow Roxy at Roxy04. Tiffany Rocks at, well, Tiffany Rocks. Um, Self-explanatory right there. Both ladies are joining us here on the first show of the new year on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Now, here's another question, and I seen your excitement, Tiffany, that Chris Jericho has come back to the WWE. Now that you had a few days to sink in on that moment, what's your thoughts now that Chris Jericho is back?
Oh, I'm ecstatic about Chris Jericho being back in WWE. I've always been a hardcore Chris Jericho fan. I'm just interested to see how they're going to use him this time. Last time, he came in big, like this time again, but they kind of dropped the ball on him and he kind of fizzled out. I'm interested to see if they're going to do better with him this time since they brought him back.
As long as they don't do the whole suit wearing, soft spoken, I'm the best in the world at what I do, then I'm happy that he's back. I want the loud, obnoxious, calling people ass clowns Chris Jericho. That's what I want. I don't want the suit wearing Chris Jericho. I
Right,
will.
yeah, that's what I'd like to see come
Yes.
back. Mhm.
Um. Again, we are joined with both Rockettes, Tiffany Wax and Roxy, right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. I think we went through everything that we need to went through. Before we let you both ladies go, y'all did this before on Chilling with Jeff and Kitty C. And I would like for you ladies to do the same here. The station ID, the voice drop. All you have to do is say your names. And right after you say your names, you say you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
All right. I'll try to do it without coughing in the middle of it.
Okay, you go right ahead.
Okay, I am Rock and Roll Roxy.
I'm Tiffany Rocks, and we are the
You're listening to
Rockettes,
yes.
and you're listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Perfect.
With
Um,
loves and body slams.
Roxy, once again, I wish you the best and happy retirement. And as for you, Tiffany, my current Georgia neighbor, wish you the best as well. I'm not sure if you heard, but I'm moving back to Kentucky.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
You didn't like Georgia, huh?
Uh, Georgia is good, but I'm just not ready to live there uh, long term
Yeah, it's a
just
nice
yet.
place to visit.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of family living there. Yeah, I'm just not ready to live there long term just yet. So I'll be back in the future, but I'm gonna be heading back to Kentucky come next week or so. So I won't
Oh, I
forget.
thought you had already moved back already.
Nah, I was supposed to, but then I had a setback. So, but I will be back in Kentucky come next week. And one of these days, I gotta see Tiffany Wax wrestle in person. But I'm on the wrong side of Georgia apparently.
Right, yeah, you're what, closer to Savannah, right?
Yeah, I'm in Augusta slash
Augusta,
Hannibal.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good ways away from me. I'm like right at Tennessee.
Mm. Well, we'll work it out. Well, at least I'll work it out.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah. One more question for both ladies. This is for Brownie Master. Uh, Here's one for Tiffany. What's her favorite past wrestler? And for Roxy, what's her favorite tag team match? I'm just reading what's on the chat. So for Tiffany, what's your favorite past wrestler? Could be anyone. Past, WWE, WCW, TNA, whatever the case may be.
Oh, I thought we've already answered this question. Chris Jericho is my all-time favorite.
Well,
But if you want to know my all-time women's favorite, it would have to be Trish Stratus. I know some people have mixed feelings about her, but
mm-hmm.
I feel that, we really watched her, grow up in the wrestling business because she went from being that fitness model to the manager into wrestling and then one of the best WWE divas ever. So I feel like, I've kind of made those steps myself. I'm not nowhere near, I don't feel as progressed as she is, of course, but I feel that I could get that way if I do, continue on. So that's my favorite female, but my all-time favorite male wrestler is definitely Chris Jericho.
All right. Well, with that said, we're gonna go ahead and let you both ladies go. Thank you
Oh,
both.
you didn't ask Roxy her
Oh,
question.
oh, I'm sorry. And for
What?
Roxy, Andrew wants to know what was your favorite tag team match. I'm guessing what he's really asking is what is your favorite tag team, male or female? That's just my assumption. I'm just reading what's in the chat
Okay.
room.
Well, my favorite tag team ever was DX. I know that might sound corny, but I love comedy, and they were hilarious. So DX is definitely favorite tag team, and any match of theirs would be my favorite tag team match.
Now, would that be New Age Outlaws or Triple H and Shawn Michaels?
Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Okay, all right, there you go. You can't go wrong either way. You know,
Right.
you can't go wrong either way. Any member of DX is on point. Um, well, I can't believe this, but this is the end of the interview. Thank you, Tiffany and Roxy, my favorite woman tag team ever. And this is the third
Same.
time I've interviewed you ladies in over a year, and you ladies are always great to be on. And like I said, Roxy, best health and success going forward. And for you, Tiffany, best of success for you winning back
Thanks.
that NWA Women's title. Uh, and going forward, thank you both for joining us. You all have a great weekend.
Oh, thank
Right.
you. You too,
Thanks.
Kenny.
All right, you take care.
All right.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye. That was the Rockettes, Tiffany Wax and Roxy. Roxy will be retiring from wrestling in February. Hope y'all enjoyed that interview. Speaking of interviews, I didn't had a interview planned for next week, but thanks to Twitter, now I do. Next week, I'm going to be joined with WSU Commissioner and wrestling veteran Amy Lee. She joins me next week. And thank you to Chaos of ITMI Radio. You can now listen to past chilling shows, TTW radio shows, and many more of your favorite talk shows on ITMI Radio on the ITMI On Demand. You can go to you can click on the ITMI On Demand on the top up the page, and you can listen to past shows. Thank you for stopping by, Ebo, and you have a good night. Now I gotta get to the TNA portion of the show real quick. I'm gonna recap Impact from last week real quick. AJ Styles and Kazarian defeated Abyss and Scott Steiner, which now led to Abyss taking on Bully Ray in a Monster Ball match at Genesis. Nice versus Zima. Zima won the contract on the pole match. He's going to be in the X Division title match at Genesis. Gunner loses to Douglas Williams by disqualification. Gunner accompanied to the ring by Ric Flair, and I think Gunner put a DDT on Williams on the hard floor. Samoa Joe and Magnus defeated Eric Young and ODB in the wildcard tag team tournament. Kurt Angle defeated Rob Van Dam by a disqualification because of the interference of James Storm, and Gail Kim versus Mickey James in the main event, thanks to a face painted Madison Rain. Gail Kim retained the Knockouts Championship, and she will have her rematch at Genesis. As for tonight's Impact is concerned, Gail Kim teaming up with Madison Rain, taking on Tracy Brooks and Mickey James. Then the Wild Card Tag Team Tournament finals is tonight. Samoa Joe and Magnus versus AJ Styles and Kazarian in a 6-man tag team main event. James Storm, Jeff Hardy, Monster Abyss versus Bobby Roode, Kurt Angle, and Bully Ray. And now I'm going to go ahead and make my picks for the TNA Genesis pay-per-view. Starting right now. Give me Abyss to beat Bully Ray in a Monster Ball match. Give me Kurt Angle to defeat James Storm. Give me the Pope to cheat on Devon, picking up the victory. Give me Austin Aries to win the X Division title match. Give me Mickie James to finally win back the Knockouts Championship for a third time. And give me Bobby Roode to beat Jeff Hardy to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And those are my picks for the pay-per-view. Genesis. That was very quick, by the way. Next week, we'll recap Genesis, and we'll recap everything else on WWE and TNA. The Royal Rumble's coming up in a few weeks. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, and it's the first year. The first year. Oh, and hold on a second. Before I go any further, the stipulation for the Bully Ray versus Abyss Monster Ball match. If Bully Ray wins, then Abyss is forced to rejoin Immortal. That's Eric Bischoff's group. It used to be Hulk Hogan's group. Now it's Eric Bischoff's group. So Bully Ray defeats Abyss. And I'm glad you brought that up, Fozzy. There is rumors that RVD's TNA contract is up and he wants to return to the WWE. Now, I don't know exactly when his contract is expired, but how cool would it be if it was expired just in time for the Royal Rumble? Or maybe before WrestleMania, for that matter. RVD was part of WWE for 2001 to 2007. It's amazing he was part of the WWE for that long, for 6 years. Former WWE champion, ECW champion, Tag Team champion, Intercontinental champion. I think he's won almost every single WWE title except for the US title. He's won everything else. The WWE needs some talent. And I understand they're trying to rely on the young talent and stuff like that. But they need people. It's going to take more than Chris Jericho. I will say that. It's going to take more than Chris Jericho to get it done. So if RVD wants to come back, then that's exactly what WWE needs. They need some stars. Their stars are falling apart. Orton is hurt. Del Rio is hurt. Christian, Mysterio, Nash is hurt. Sin Cara is hurt. They need people. That means other people are going to have to step up. Zack Ryder's going to have to step up. Dolph Ziggler's going to have to step up. You know. And who knows what's going to happen. OVW and TNA get to go through their first full year together. So hopefully they start looking for new talent. Start relying on a recycled WWE talent. And maybe, just maybe, they can start building some new stars. And when is Brodus Clay going to eventually come to WWE, for crying out loud? Make it happen, people. Just get Brodus Clay out there and get it over with already. Get it over with. On Karma, you know, I haven't heard much from Karma. It's going to be interesting to see how long it's going to take. And then she's going to come back. But I think she's going to come back after WrestleMania. You know, she's got the baby on the way. She's going to be a mom. You know, take care of your kid. Then when the time is right, you go to the WWE and take care of business. Don't forget, TNA and Impact's coming up next. If you're on the East Coast, SmackDown's tomorrow night, and TNA Genesis this Sunday night on pay-per-view. Just a reminder before I get off the air here. Andrew, I am looking forward to coming back to Kentucky either next week or so. Next week or so. Just a reminder, Jeff will not be doing shows until he gets his computer fixed. Until he gets his computer fixed. So, you can check out the Morgue, Broken Pole, and Smoking Beaver tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Jeff will not be doing shows until further notice. Then it's going to be Lauren and myself on Chillin' this coming Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. Again, I want to thank the Rockettes, Tiffany Rocks and Roxy, for joining me, Kenny C. Amy Lee, hopefully, will be joining us next Thursday night. For everyone else on TTW Radio, I am Kenny C. signing off. You all have a happy new year. I'll see you this Saturday night on Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C. I'll see you next Thursday night right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. You all have a good night. Oh, and check out the website chillingbroadcasting.com. Good night, everybody.